This afternoon, the Wichita School District responding now to the findings of an investigation by the Department of Justice.
The focus, race and disability discrimination within the school district. 12 News reporter Brandon Stitt talked with district leaders this afternoon. Brandon, tell us what the investigation found and how it's responding.
Rachel, the superintendent talked with us this afternoon addressing that Justice Department investigation and now agreement. The DOJ now saying that that agreement is to end, quote, the school to prison pipeline and to protect the most vulnerable. Now let me break this down for you. The investigation into Wichita Public Schools started in 2022. The findings and an agreement to address them were released just today. That investigation uncovered three big issues: racial discrimination against black students in the area of school discipline, racial discrimination when referring students to police or security, and inappropriate seclusion and restraining of students with disabilities. The school district now addressing the findings with plans to fix the issues.
One of the requirements of the settlement, and one of the things that I believe will be a good thing for the district, is that we will have a clear and consistent approach across the district to administering discipline.
And creating a new Office of Behavior Management will also be created as part of this agreement. And there's also a new student code of conduct that is currently in the works. Mike, Rachel.